It's starting. Hold up.
Starting out.
Yeah, just wait until it starts, and then we can go. That's how it works.
Yeah. All right. You guys ready for the stupidest joke you've heard all day?
Here we go. Yes.
Fire away.
I am Loki, and I have been burdened with glorious purpose.
I don't get it.
It's a golden controller. It's the horns.
Oh.
Wow, you guys were throwing that up.
And the back is actually green, so it is weirdly Loki colored.
Nice. I think
Hello, everybody.
Three convention. I will surprise everyone with the game of the year.
Fun fact, Loki actually dropped by Comic-Con and said a very similar dialogue, only not about E3.
Oh yeah, Hall H.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Disney Plus, pals. We're finally back to Marvel, like everyone demanded.
Hey.
So we are starting with, well, first let me introduce my fine people with me. I'm joined by Callum McRitchie, Scott Smire, Charisse Sarazan, aka Sherry the Dizwiz, and of course, Dee Dee Cooper, or whatever that is, the guy who robbed a plane and held it hostage and then jumped out of it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it does look like him.
I mean, Jack in general kind of somewhat looks like Tom Hiddleston, so.
Yes.
If I was gonna do a different Loki from this episode, I would need a haircut. So.
By the way, I'm wearing this green for Loki, just
And
because.
And green scrunchy.
Green tea's good for you, by the way.
You're drinking green tea for Loki.
Hashtag green tea for Loki. Get it trending.
Yeah.
I am, of course, joined by Jack of all trades to introduce him properly. And we have watched the stupendously strange first episode of Loki, the Disney Plus original series. Well, shit.
What?
I think I have come to a conclusion that none of these Marvel Disney Plus shows are going to be bad. I would be actually surprised if one ends up bad now, because Loki, how do they keep doing this? We keep getting these characters that we already like, already connect to, and then we watch the shows and it's like, oh fuck, we could like them more. I don't even understand it, because unlike the other two characters that got shows, like, you know, well, four, I guess, you know, Winter Soldier, Vision, Scarlet Witch, and Falcon, this is more of a main character. Loki has gotten a lot of screen time, probably more than any of those characters. And yet, in this one episode, they put so much new character into him and make me feel so bad for this dude that I'm just going to say it. I think Marvel should just keep doing TV shows. Like, don't get me wrong, I still want the movies, but, like, these are really good. What do you guys think? Just thoughts going on.
Was technically already a series in itself. They seem to thrive off a series, and for the longest of time, they thrive off series where the stories stand out individually. Take hints, DC. So, and these TV series are coming off fresh from Avengers Endgame, and heads up, audience, you need to watch, especially all the films starring Loki, because if you don't, you're going to get very confused by some of the events here. But it astonishes me that they keep making like good quality stories, like, and make them interesting and unique, whether it be with new concepts or new depths that we haven't yet explored. So yeah, if they can keep this up, by all means keep going. You should only stop if you're getting tired and recycled. Call of Duty, yeah.
Ooh, a few shots fired throughout that.
Shots being fired is nothing new to Call of Duty.
Sorry.
What did you think, Cher? How did you feel going into it?
Well, it starts off with the story. You guys ready for it?
Are you just excited that Miss Minutes is in it?
We'll get to her. We'll get
Well,
to her.
before the show at all, what did you think about just like your feelings about it before getting into too much detail, just general stuff?
Well, I actually wasn't introduced to Loki until like the first Avengers movie. So like I have not watched the first Thor movie before watching the first Avengers movie, which is probably a mistake. So then I watched the first Thor movie, and he's just awesome. I love Tom Hiddleston. He's so funny. And then all those funny promos with like Thor: The Dark World, which like the Hall H one's probably my favorite one that he was a part of. And then like with the ones where he's with like the little kids, he's like, "I am Loki of Asgard. I'm Diana of New Jersey." I don't know why I just find it so cute. I don't remember watching Thor: The Dark World. Maybe it's a good thing I don't remember it because I've heard people say it's a movie.
That says a lot about how forgettable it is compared to the rest.
Honestly, in hindsight, looking back, like what they did with it here, it's honestly not that bad. Like, it's not a bad movie.
No.
They just didn't pace it super well. It's boring at times.
Right.
Hmm.
And then
Formulaic.
I freaking love Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok. That's probably my personal favorite from the Thor movies, and the one I actually remember the most. That's saying a lot.
Huh.
And then I was very heartbroken when he got the axe, or did he? In Infinity War, I cried. I felt really sad about that. But then we got this show, and it was great. Oh,
Yeah.
and funny enough, I actually have another funny story. So I sent you guys these pictures. You guys don't know what they look like, but I sent them to the guys. So it was for my senior year graduation party, whatever, where we all went to go to like Disneyland and like California Adventures, and we were taking pictures, right? And we were all going on the rides, and I like to take pictures of like majority of like the Disney characters. So when we went to California Adventures, at the time Black Panther was out.
Mm.
So I was trying to look for Black Panther, and then I ran into Loki instead. And then and I don't remember what the actual conversation was, but I think it was like, "Hello, mortal. What do you want?" And I was like, "Can I have a picture?" He's like, whatever, just walk with me. And I had to find someone who's like, "Hey, ma'am, can you take a photo of me and like Loki here?" And then we just had a conversation. We just had a conversation about world dominance and stuff. And then we took a picture together. And then he
I mean,
left.
that's fitting. Just because you kind of reminded me of it, have you guys seen what Lucky Charms did to advertise Loki?
Nope.
Oh.
If you go to mischievouslydelicious.com, you can purchase Loki Charms. A box of Lucky Charms decorated to be Loki. And
Oh my
I plan
goodness,
to buy it too.
that's so cute and very mischievous.
It's mischievously delicious.
Mischievously delicious.
I love it when people
That's
do
funny
shit
enough,
like this.
Cal's wearing a leprechaun shirt.
Yeah, so technically you're in brand, buddy. Jack, did you have any preconceptions, or how were your feelings getting out of it as well? Just preconceptions and postconceptions. How you feel? You were looking forward to this one.
Yeah. Basically, what you were saying earlier about Disney just need to keep making these shows. That you mean like the Netflix ones? Yeah. We got 3 good ones and Iron Fist. So we'll see. What If's gonna be great. It's animated.
Jack, why
It
would you
looks
even
great, but-
tempt fate? Why would you even tempt fate like that?
Just
Now
saying,
I'm
just
scared.
Well, what is the next live action one after this?
Miss Marvel, I believe, is next.
Okay. Cautiously optimistic on that, anyway.
Captain
yes, I was very excited for this. Yeah, the trailer was great. I loved this. I'll get into the music on this episode. I'm really looking forward to what the score does. Yeah. No. Going into this, yeah. Everyone's a Loki fan. it was going to do well just based off that if it's following Tom Hiddleston. I was interested where we were going to pick up because of the events of Endgame, which I'm glad they were so heavily touched on. I'm glad how much they hammer home the rest of the MCU and the predetermined timeline, the correct timeline, whatever the phrase was they had for the MCU. So I was really looking forward to this, and now having seen episode 1, I'm glad that most of the scenes from the trailers, you have the little snippets of the different timelines and universes and whatnot that we will get as the show goes on, but most of the just characters talking, exposition, world building was all done in this episode. I have very few questions about how this works now. I'm just ready to enjoy this ride.
Oh yeah. Like if WandaVision was a story of like overcoming grief, if Falcon and Winter Soldier was a story about like taking up the mantle of Captain America, this is a story about hey, remember old Marvel shit? Remember how much you like Marvel? We're just gonna throw that at you, and we're still gonna do the heavy character stuff we've been doing because you like that, but we're just gonna have fun with it. And I am adoring that. Just like the best thing about these shows, the best thing is the fact that they are digging deeper into these characters. They're not going bigger, they're going deeper. And it's wonderful. It's great to see these little scenes where the future Captain America can't get a bank loan, where Wanda just wants to bury her boyfriend robot, and the government saying you can't. And I think the most powerful one of those moments is when Loki literally gets to watch his life story. And
that was a good. That was a very good moment. Probably my favorite moment. Well, second favorite moment.
It reminded me of WandaVision episode 9, where I was like, wow,
eight.
Oh, 8. You're right. You got me. Cher always catches me on this.
No, episode 9 was WandaPigeon, remember?
Yeah, that was the last one. Episode 8 is the one where they like go through her life, and it's revealed like why she became the Scarlet Witch and all that. This one does a very similar thing, but I think it's done better here because we actually get to see a lot of Loki's reactions, and he's all by himself. And we'll talk more on that later, but let's just jump into the plot itself.
Yes, everyone, this is set after the plot of Avengers Endgame, and this is not the Loki we see getting killed by Thanos. This is the Loki from the end of the first Avengers movie. Let me explain. After a failed time travel heist to get the Tesseract to get all the Infinity Stones to bring everyone back from the perspective of Ant-Man and some other colleagues, they failed to get the Tesseract because Hulk at the timeline was getting angsty. Loki saw this as an opportunity to grab the Tesseract and disappear. This is where this show leaves off.
Yes. Good. You did well.
Why is it like he had the Infinity Stones?
Well, we'll talk about that a little more later as well. But,
Oh, I have an Infinity Stone.
That's a Barbie doll. Wait. That is a stone.
Traveling back to time to your nostalgia?
And it's a green stone as well, hey?
Yeah, there's tons of them in a box. It doesn't matter.
We'll get to that.
There's plenty more on the back.
It's not the Loki from the end of Endgame. It's the Loki.
Just imagine that instead of like having to like get gems to put in a glove, Thanos had to collect all of the different colored Barbies to reset half the universe.
All sponsored.
He will never take away Barbie Peridot. He could take Emerald for all I care. He's not taking away Peridot. That's my birthday.
Just imagining that one scene where Doctor Strange hands it over, but it's a Barbie doll.
I'm imagining where he hands over, but it's Peridot from Steven Universe just screaming her head off.
Friggin' Black Widow just died. Hawkeye's like laying in the pond. He wakes up, looks at his hand. There's a Barbie doll in it.
Yeah. He would probably need he would need either the January or July Barbie, the September Barbie, or the March Barbie, the May or August. She's not taking away. You can take away May for all I care. Definitely the June or February Barbie. And I don't know how he's gonna be able to get the Soul Stone. So good luck with that, Thanos.
This is a lot of Barbie talk.
I was gonna say this has been a good tangent to start off with.
I miss making these random funny moments. Remember when I talked about Yo Gabba Gabba for like 30 minutes?
It was a very long time we spent on Yo Gabba Gabba. But moving forward, so brief synopsis for Loki, just to go very quickly. The events of Avengers Endgame leave Loki in the hands of the Time Police. And, there's a bunch of hijinks, but the main story of the episode is Loki is guilty because he wasn't supposed to escape the Avengers there. He was supposed to be captured. So the plan is to reset him, but this other guy named Mobius believes Loki can actually help them with a criminal who is taking down the Time Police. Because, spoiler alert for the end, it's another version of Loki, maybe.
Or is it?
I mean, there is a shot of the devil.
Yeah.
Mephisto?
I mean, here's the thing. I think a lot of people were going to think it was Mephisto. The director straight up said it's not Mephisto. They said it's an unbelievable coincidence. It's not Mephisto. Don't start theorizing.
Dang it.
Too late.
But Loki has to be convinced to join the Time Police, and he's not having it. But luckily, Mobius can read him like a book. He starts showing him his history. There's a brief second where Loki starts to escape, and he has to fight this other time cop. But after that, Loki gets to see his future. And the good, the bad, and of course, the end, which is Thanos killing him. Humbled, he reveals that secretly to Mobius, he has always kind of been fearful. He's not... The Loki we see may just be a character he puts on to hide himself away from pain and such.
Everybody has their own insecurities.
That's just awesome.
It's all a part of the illusion, as he says.
So Loki agrees to help hunt down the other Loki. And that's the end of this episode with a little tease of maybe that character is a bit more than Loki can handle. Was that confusing? Get ready, because it's going to get more confusing.
If that was confusing, stop watching now.
Jack, we usually lead into the proper details through your notes, so do you have any for us today?
Just on the opening up to Loki arriving at the TVA, the Time Variant Authority, I think, or Variance Authority?
Yes. I do think it is the Time Variant Authority.
Yeah.
I think so.
From the trailers, when we saw these statues of these three grand characters towering above everyone else, my initial thought was, oh my gosh, it's the Living Tribunal!
I thought it was some random characters from Star Trek or Star Wars.
But no, we were told and everything is the Timekeepers, which is this whole other thing. Comic Drake did a great video breaking that down in the lead up to this. Go check that out.
Here's the thing. I knew who the Timekeepers were, but I saw that head behind that lady, and I was like, even though I knew who they were, I knew who the other two were, I was like, is that Kang the Conqueror? Is that Kang the Conqueror back there?
I can see that. But no, yeah, so the episode opens with just, here's a few scenes from Endgame. Enjoy, which is very nice. Getting to see some of that again. Again, this is so well tied into such. It feels like, even though it is very much its own thing, branching off, if you will, it feels very interconnected with the rest of the MCU, which I love. There was even when Loki grabs the Tesseract and apparates away, we get a little line from Thor that I didn't recognize, or he's like, He's asking where Loki's gone. I'm like, that was in Avengers. That wasn't in Endgame. Is that like a snippet from one of the other Thor films? Is it like a deleted scene they just have audio of? Did they get Chris Hemsworth in to record these extra 2 lines?
I do think he says it in Endgame. I think he says it right at the end as they're about to leave.
Okay.
But they definitely drew more attention to it now, and it was like a bigger thing. Because he legit sounds scared.
The plot, yeah.
Yeah.
I like when we arrive at the TVA. The aesthetic and the tech of the TVA is great. I love that it's this old, but it's super advanced sci-fi shenanigans. Always loved that vibe. Star Wars plays with that a little. And Umbrella Academy on Netflix. Go check that out. They get into this sort of idea as well.
So there was this one moment. For context, Avengers Campus just opened, and they brought back the soda from Incredible Hulk. I believe it's called Pingo Doso or something. It's like, essentially, it's the soda that was in the Incredible Hulk that is now real. And because of that, when I saw the soda in this, I was like, all right, what's that soda? What's going on there? Is that something original? Turns out, and I love this detail, that soda is a discontinued Pepsi product that was from forever ago, meaning the Time Variance Authority can just go through time and grab their favorite snacks whenever they want. And everyone's using typewriters. It's incredibly strange style, and I love it.
I want to bring back Yogos.
I want Ecto Cooler.
I love the idea of like the quote-unquote clever use of time travel like that. There's a line right at the end, like the last scene of this episode is like, oh yeah, some guy probably came back in time knowing there was oil here to get rich. I'm like, yeah, if I had a time machine, I'd use it to get rich too.
Oh no, if I had a time machine, first thing I'd try to do, make my life better. And of course, that would probably end in me erasing the world.
Yeah, yep. I don't know. If I was there, even though they established that the supernatural essence of the place is stronger even beyond the Infinity Stones, I would take the Infinity Stones.
We'll get to that when we get to that point. That's a whole thing.
Yeah, I am surprised Loki didn't pocket any of those, because, like, I would have taken at least the reality gem. Like, come on, man. The fact that they had
Loki is
hysterically
processed the place.
Powerful items in the Marvel Universe are used by these people as paper hold stamps.
Callum, this is why whenever you were like, Thanos is the most powerful being, how do they go further from here? I was like, no. No, he's not.
Well,
just wait.
Beyond cosmic at this point.
I probably would have thought you had meant something like Galacticus, you know, that big, giant, ridiculously purple and blue costume thing.
I mean, I did. Galactus could eat this place in one bite. That's the power we're dealing with, bro.
Yeah.
But to go into stuff we like, I really liked the fucking I'm trying to remember their name. There's a lot of little gags where Loki's like, oh, is this everything you've ever said? And Loki has to sign papers. He doesn't want to take a ticket. If he doesn't take the ticket, he'll be turned to ash. And I am very thankful to the Miss Minutes cartoon for explaining all of the bullshit.
Yes.
You want to talk about Miss Minutes?
Yes.
Cher really likes Tara Strong.
I love Tara Strong. Yay!
Well, how you feel about her being a clock in the MCU? Of all things.
I finally have a reason to talk about Tara Strong and other voice actors for once. Finally! I mean, technically we did talk about Tara Strong briefly last year during the DC announcements, but still! Oh my gosh!
And now we got Harley Quinn.
God! I would do anything to meet Tara Strong so badly. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
And now, I guarantee you eventually there will be plushies of that clock.
They're on a production line somewhere. Give it a week.
For sure. They're headed to Avengers Campus right now, I promise you. No, sure, I thought you would break it down, but it seems instead you've broken down.
That's a good joke, by the way. That's a very good joke. That
Thank
was a
you.
good one. At
Thank
least
you.
it wasn't a lemon pun.
You are hurting me, Sid. You are hurting me.
Don't be so
Callum,
sour.
how did you feel about this
Wait,
stuff?
wait, I wasn't done yet. I wasn't done
Okay,
yet.
go ahead.
Started
Go
yet.
ahead.
Look about it. I was
You're at a breakdown.
because I was excited. I knew that time, and then I was ready to
No.
talk about it.
Get on with it. Yes, get
And
on.
I apologize to the viewers watching this. I kind of get very obnoxious and very overly excited every 5 seconds, so I apologize for my obnoxious behavior.
Okay, we forgive you.
Okay, so I was actually, so funny enough, I actually didn't recognize her voice right away. So then I actually had to rewind it back a bit because I was like, okay, it's some voice actor. So then I had to listen to it carefully and I was like, wait a minute. That sounds like Tara Strong doing a Southern accent. I was like, it sounds like Tara Strong doing a Southern accent with the TVA. And then I looked at the credits and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Tara Strong. And I was just freaking out. And Callum, don't give me that look. I already know about it. Don't judge me. But
I just
anyway,
make fun.
I'm judging you.
you're such a star.
Carry on.
But anyways, I actually did like her explanation about the whole how time works and what happens when you go out of time. And I don't know, I have a feeling that explanation was something about the shoot, what's it called? The madness, Marvel madness,
Multiverse of Madness.
there you go. Yep.
Multiverse.
Multiverse of Madness, yep.
Well, they mentioned the Nexus again in this, which
Oh yeah, the commercial.
I was curious to get your thoughts on that, yeah.
The commercial for
I mean, if we'll remember from WandaVision, little recap, a Nexus is a place where the frickin' dimensions sort of collide. It's like the middle part. But there can actually be people who are Nexus beings that are sort of the same in every dimension. Wanda is one of them. Loki is not. Loki is now an anomaly. I'm wondering where they're going with this because they are, like, it's not even subtle anymore. Kang the Conqueror is going to be the big bad of Phase 4.
Oh.
And I am sure of it. He's popping up in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they keep setting up Nexus beings. So my theory is he's going to try to find the Nexus beings. Maybe it turns out, like from that video, that there's only one timeline right now, right? The Time Master's timeline. That's what Miss Minutes talks about.
Out with time, there is an infinite number of splitting timelines at any given moment because the MCU is one timeline at the moment, yes.
So what that makes me think is that Loki might create the multiverse, or at least bring it back. I think it's going to be like revealed that that other Loki, whoever it may be, is actually a good guy, and is trying to like bring back the multiverse and save thousands of lives. And the time variance authorities are going to be the villains. But I think Mobius is going to turn good. I think some of the good characters are going to turn good. And the girl in charge who was in front of the three heads, who, spoiler alert for that character in the comics, because I know who she is. Oh, it's not like a spoiler for the show. It's just saying the character's name and who she is in the comics.
Oh,
She's
okay.
Kang's wife.
Oh.
So some
That's
shit's
interesting.
going down with her, maybe. Although they could change her up. She's never been a villain in the comics, like a straight-up villain. So, I don't know. We'll see some stuff.
They're
That
also
is
going to make her a
Neil's-
head.
That is Neil's comic book lore of the day. Along with, did you guys see the Stan Lee cameo?
I did not.
That was just
Oh. I was too
So-
excited to see about Tara Strong.
In the background, when Loki is being judged, there is a wall of like time officers that are being honored, And one of those is
Oh,
a man with white hair and a mustache and some glasses.
Nice.
oh, that's so sweet.
I just love that Stan Lee is the center of this universe. Like, literally, he talks to the fucking Watchers. He worked with the Time Variance authorities, and yet he still was somehow in the movie Clerks in all of this. It's wonderful to me.
Yeah, that finally was able to talk to the Watchers in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
His legacy will live on. His legacy will live on.
I hope they're doing that because they did that for the Netflix shows. Like, they go to the police station and they have like Employee of the Month or something, and it's just a picture of Stan Lee in the background. Keep doing that.
Yeah, there was a reference to him in WandaVision 2. It was subtle, though. There was a license plate with his birthday on it.
Oh,
I'm like, my favorite. Just want to quickly bring up is the Spider-Verse, because there's like over 50 Stan Lee cameos in that, because it's just the CG model of him.
Oh yeah,
over and over again throughout the film.
But the best,
but then like he's like driving the train. When they are lying on the crosswalk, he's the first person to step over them. It's great fun.
I actually like that one cameo on Big Hero 6 when he's Fred's dad. That was good too.
Post credit scene.
He wears his underwear forward, backwards, inside out.
Front again.
Run again.
I think my favorite Stan Lee cameo actually is Spider-Verse, specifically when he's like, when he's just talking Miles. Weirdly enough, the Spider-Man movies usually have the best Stan Lee cameos. I guess one man can make a difference. Enough said.
We love you, Stan Lee.
But Cal, did you have any big likes in this episode? Now that we've kind of synopsized it, anything you want to focus on?
Yeah, I mean, this is such a bizarre concept, and as we've all established, they do a great job of being able to explain it. That aforementioned Tara Strong cartoon had a brilliant Hanna-Barbera kind of mock-up to it to explain how the timekeepers, these divine beings that Loki mocks at times because he's still viewing it.
You know what it reminded me of, Cal? It reminded me of Fallout. With the little pit boy instructions.
Oh.
Yeah,
My dad used to play Fallout all the time, man. He was addicted to it.
But go on, my friend.
So they explained that the timelines were in war with each other, but the timekeepers managed to keep it straight and straightforward. And they established that later on in the timelines that things like villains rising to power so that heroes would band together and grow stronger because of it. All those sad scenes, all those good scenes, that was all meant to be so that people can, live the moral accountability they're supposed to. However, Loki was not supposed to break the timeline. So that's just going to result in a whole heaps of madness. So yeah, it makes sense to have these time police exist, and this is such a brilliantly creative concept. This is something similar to the Infinity Train or something like that, where it's this sort of sciencey supernatural dimension where something happens and it's to secure certain places. But obviously, this is the kind of environment I could easily see a Doctor Who episode in. It's this concept of
it's a lo-fi Gallifrey.
Yeah, lo-fi Gallifrey. Yeah. This place where it's so supernaturally powerful that magic doesn't work. So people have to rely on being accountable instead of, I'm powerful, I'm going to escape. So I'm looking forward to just what on earth they're going to do with it. Obviously, they've got various things outside of that place, but they did a great job in explaining it as it was, and pretty unique concept, if you ask me.
Oh yeah. If you would have told me there was going to be a Loki show, I would have been like, okay, so it's going to be like a fantasy thing, like the early Thor movies were. No, it's a time travel thing, and that is nuts.
Very
and I love it.
Very sci-fi.
They're so
I'm
much
not really a
smarter
big
than me.
sci-fi person, but it's cool.
The fine people at Marvel are so much smarter than me. And by the way, I guess in all of the memes I forgot that friggin' Matthew McConaughey could act. I forgot. Like completely.
Why does everyone hate Matthew McConaughey again?
He's just a meme.
Oh.
Do
Or
we
is it-
mean Owen Wilson?
Oh yeah, I always confuse them.
I was a little
Oh,
confused. Matthew McConaughey
Wilson.
wasn't in this. Why are we shitting on him?
I was like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, no. Let's shit on Owen Wilson instead.
Lightning McQueen.
No offense, Owen
Yeah.
Wilson. You're a lot of fun. We love you, man.
Oh no, he's a great actor, and I
Yeah.
forgot for a minute.
We just wow.
Good job.
I'm waiting for the moment he says that in the show.
You know he's gonna.
Like, he's saying wow.
They're gonna make us earn it.
Honestly, I'm impressed with what they did in the makeup department. I mean, obviously, I probably would have known the voice, but I overlooked the voice. Like, he looked so different because when you see Owen Wilson, he's usually got that sort of moderately long, wavy blonde hair. You don't usually.
I was here. Isn't he more nasally?
I don't know. What was the last film he saw him in? It's been a few years, I think, since he's done anything big. It's
Cars.
yeah.
So he's in this show. He's got the sort of J. Jonah Jameson kind of gray hair going on, as well as a black mustache. I honestly didn't recognize it was Owen Wilson until the credits came up, and I thought,
Owen Wilson with a mustache in this?
yeah, I just thought,
He has
of
a
course
mustache?
Owen Wilson did. What?
What just
Why are
happened?
you giving me? He has a mustache.
Did you
No?
not see the mustache, Jack?
No,
Yeah,
no.
he has a mustache. You didn't
Jack,
know?
he has a mustache.
Because we went from J. Jonah Jameson to a black mustache. I'm picturing the proper like ink blot black.
Oh.
No, okay, yeah.
I was beginning to ask, how did you not see Owen Wilson's mustache?
I was gonna say, like,
The older
Matthew
gentleman,
McConaughey
it
comment
fits
about
in with the
this.
aesthetic as opposed to, again, the J. Jonah Jameson black Hitler patch.
By the way, I just realized this looks a little weird how I'm leaning here right now. My chair broke in the last episode. I have
That's
to
right.
use a sword to lean.
Oh, I thought you were gonna bring up the gun part, where you're like, if you think about bringing up a love pun.
That gun's still here.
Oh
It's still
no.
here if I need it.
Oh.
Don't worry. I also have a second sword just in case. I'm ready.
Oh.
I'll fight you. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Here, Callum, take this. Here.
Buying your own plane ticket.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's right. I have my own katana. Duh. I'm okay.
We can all sword fight.
I would
I've
probably.
been to a fighting class one time.
Back to Loki.
But yeah, Loki. Speaking of Loki killing people, I was on the edge of my seat when they brought up the last person who said that to me. Yeah, you know what happened to him? It's like, yes, Phil Coulson. I'm like, whoa. What are we addressing here?
I thought they were gonna do it.
What? They didn't. They didn't. But
I thought they were gonna do it. I thought they were gonna make Agents of Shield canon.
I was almost. I think I was practically standing. I was proper off my seat at that. Whoa, no, we're not. Whoa.
You see,
I mean,
in
I
that
don't
show,
really watch Agents of Shield that much. Is it really that bad?
in the later seasons, time travel becomes a thing. So part of me was like, is he gonna walk in? Is Phil Coulson gonna walk in?
I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting perhaps Mobius to make reference because Loki's like threatening him with, I killed the last person who said that to me. So I was waiting for Mobius to be like, no, you didn't. He's still alive. I wasn't expecting him to walk into the room. There's some confirmation that Agent Coulson is still out there. But
Can I just say something that I felt pretty stupid saying this.
I didn't notice the mustache, so go ahead.
Matthew
I
McConaughey.
think I've set the bar. Stupid comment.
There is a stupid bar. We're down here. Join us.
Good to know there's a floor on this.
Oh boy, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I'm pretty sure this is dumb. This is so dumb.
There yet.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Okay, go.
Oh god. Every time I kept hearing Mobius, I kept thinking of Morbius, the vampire.
Fair.
There.
I think I misspelt it as Morbius in my notes somewhere. That's fine.
I kept thinking Morpheus.
Lately, I will say this. I've been having a lot of nightmares about vampires because of that one episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark I kind of regret watching, but it was so funny anyway. But yeah.
That's why we're all named Mobius. Can I just gush about what an amazing physics concept and shape that is?
Oh, yeah.
It's a three-dimensional 2D shape with only one side. It's a 3D shape. A 3D shape. But it's only got one side.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. I've prepared a demo. You take a strip of paper, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You twist it, and you put the ends together. Okay? Get a bit of tape and you
Beautiful.
tape it in place. Beautiful.
It's a circle right there.
Slapdash.
Circle of life.
It's a circle.
Of life.
I'm gonna go. The tape's here. Gonna feed my hand all the way around it without taking my fingers off. And because it's paper, it's a wee bit finicky. You can go right the way around the one side of this shape because it's a continuous loop.
He's breaking up, by the way.
Keeps going and going
Very
and
fitting.
going. Because you've created a shape with only one side. It's got one face, but it's a 3D object. And it's paper, so it's technically still, because it's multiple edges and vertices and everything, because it exists in 3D space.
Can you do it again? You broke up.
Taking
for
that
a
with
couple
time
seconds.
travel, that's what Tony, when he's playing around with ideas, he's like, I'll invert it and put it on a Mobius strip as he's trying to synthesize time travel. And of course, he gets it on the first day. But that's Tony Stark.
For the record, in the recording, you started breaking up during that. But here's the thing. You don't need to redo it, because when you started breaking up was when you were describing the time travel, and you just went slower and slower. Over and over. And it kept getting slower and slower, and I was like, oh my god, this sounds so cool.
Yes, I did that deliberately.
Yes, you are Kang the Conqueror, Jack.
Look it
You
up.
are
The Mobius strip is an amazing concept.
Oh,
And it's really fun. Just
Vampire.
Owen Wilson.
Why?
I'm going to associate him with that now going forward.
I thought Owen Wilson's performance was weirdly perfect for the character of Loki, and I wouldn't have thought that. I would have always viewed that Loki was great with like a big meathead type character like Thor, because we've seen that like really work. But Mobius is like smarter than Loki and has weirdly become a therapist to him. I just love when he keeps going like, do you enjoy hurting people? And he keeps calling it out because he knows what's going on. Loki doesn't, and Loki needs to make that journey on his own.
He's no
God,
longer the smartest man in the room. So that it's going to be fun seeing him brought down a few pegs.
Well, Loki's whole thing is he has this personality of like ambiance. He steals scenes essentially. He comes in, he's in charge, he's the center of attention, and now we have a circumstance where it's like I have no control over what's happening to me, and I just kind of have to go with the flow, and that makes me so uncomfortable. And it is heartbreaking towards the end. Do we have anything else to talk about before we go into that? I also want to bring up theories after that.
Sorry, Cal.
Oh, go ahead, Cal.
Hey, yeah. Mobius, from what you're describing him, he's the kind of person who could take any person, even if they've traveled across different dimensions, just to break them down. You're dealing with the supernatural moral accountability, son. You got nothing on Owen Wilson and his infinite time knowledge. Supernatural, baby. Although, with that said, there was one scene where I thought, okay, for an apparently smart character, you did a very, very dumb thing. So basically, there's a scene where the time guards come in, and he was just having a really great conversation as he was going, "Oh no, I think we're getting somewhere." But then the time cops come in and say, "No, we have to take him away." But then there's, "No, no, I have to go with it." And then they arrange to talk outside, leaving the security things behind, giving Loki, the god of mischief, the opportunity to take the thing holding him hostage and escape.
Now hold on.
What job?
He took it out of his pocket. Also, Jack, I think you're muted. He took it out of his pocket.
I literally wasn't saying anything. You're fine.
He took it out of his pocket. He looted him. Jack, you are wigging me out, man. But he took it out of his pocket. So it wasn't fully Mobius's fault, but also secretly, I think he kind of let him do it. Like, I think he wanted a situation. I think the reason he left him alone was so Loki had a chance to watch the rest of the video. Like, that way he could see it.
I mean, okay, to be fair, he does have, like, knowledge of all the times, but judging by the other person who's causing chaos, this other Loki, does he really know if he would have bothered watching his life reel or not?
I don't think he knows.
Even if he got out, he's still stuck in the bureau. So, like, there wasn't much he could do at that point. I do like that one guy, what was his name? Casey? The friggin' desk hand?
Yeah.
I hate the idea of someone literally being raised behind a desk and his whole life is that desk. I hate that.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what a fish is.
Yeah.
Look, I'm disgusted like a
At
fish.
first I thought they were dragging that joke out a little bit. It was like, how can you not know what a fish is? But then it was funny again with the whole... I just don't understand. I want to know in what way I am being threatened. What was his logic for that?
And then he just goes, death! A very painful, violent death!
And then later in the episode, you threatened to turn me into a fish!
That was funny.
God, I want that man to become a fish now. I want an episode where he, like, sees a fish and he's like, oh my god, that's horrifying!
It's just a fish.
That'll get a bit too close to Umbrella Academy Season 2 if we actually bring up fish. That'll be...
I don't know what understanding is. You are... I'm going to make you cease to be. I'm going to make you cease to desist. I'll make you join the choir invisible. I'm going to make you an ex-Casey.
Ex-Casey sounds like a sports game. How did you guys feel about the Infinity Gems in the desk?
Bunch of paperweights.
The most powerful items in the universe, and they're used as paperweights.
They're not the most powerful items in this area.
No. Which is the fun thing. I was curious if it'd be brought up, and they do address it as like, yeah, he's tried using the Tesseract, and it didn't do anything. Because a key point of the Infinity Gauntlets and the Infinity Stones is they only work within their universe.
Yeah.
You can take them to a multiverse, another parallel universe, and they do squat. They're just rocks and a glove at that point. So I like, in this time, out of space, whatever exactly the TVA is, they also don't have any power. Why would they?
Oh, yeah. And, like, honestly, if I were Loki, I would have pocketed one. Because, you know, you never know when you're going to go back to Earth. Having one of those could be helpful.
But then that would only work within that specific timeline, which doesn't exist anymore. This is the Tesseract from that branch, which is being clipped. So these are just paperweights. Right. They're completely useless now.
So have various Infinity Stones. So that must mean they got them from various universes.
Well, it's also possible, you know how the fucking the ancient one was like, oh, if the stones disappear, like the timeline will be in chaos. It's possible they just replace the stones. Thanos also mentioned he shrunk them, so maybe they're just tiny. But I don't know. The stones are still around.
Yeah, Thanos says he reduced them to atoms, meaning they still exist within the universe, but not as usable stuff. So that's why the timeline continues. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, that little gag. It's like, yeah, they're just in this drawer.
Ever so slightly undercuts Tony's death. Just a little.
Not just Tony's death, but just the entire saga. They've been building up these powerful items.
Well, here's the thing. The rules they have set up, they're still powerful, but the Time Bureau isn't in a dimension. It's like, think of like it's outside of time, meaning anything that has to follow the rules of time have no power there. So think of like they're depowered here, but somewhere else they're the most powerful thing in the world.
Right.
What's making is they aren't. They're not that powerful, most powerful thing in the universe anywhere at all anymore. Because you have the main Marvel timeline, and a branch happens, and the TVA come in to get rid of it, which is where they get these stones from. So that branch doesn't exist anymore. So those stones are just a leftover, useless paperweight.
Yeah, since they just
there's a rock and a hard place, sir. You're stuck between place.
That's like if
rock in a desk drawer.
You know what that does mean, though? That means that there were other realities which are erased now, like problems to the timelines, where some supervillain or maybe a hero got an Infinity Stone and then used them in a direction that the timeline could not go in. Which also means that there is some reason in the grand timeline of the Marvel Universe that will surely be paid off later to why Thanos' snap needed to happen.
Yeah.
Right. Everything happens for a reason. It's usually to make people better and stronger and to learn things.
Yeah, it gets into the existence and reasonings of the Timekeepers, which I'm sure have to be addressed. We'll get to that.
I still think they're the villains, but maybe they're not. We'll see.
I don't see them as those villains. I think they're just keeping things in order. And I think this Time Police Force, as far as I know, are keeping things in order. But, I mean, obviously, plot twists, that could happen. But as far as I'm aware, they're keeping things in order. So why would they make things into disorder? So that makes them less likely to be, if you ask me.
That's kind of my mindset here. Like, what is their definition of order? Like, remember, they let Thanos wipe out half the universe. So maybe, like, they are still three beings. So maybe they're not as virtuous as it's being displayed right now. Maybe there are motives for what they're doing. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I think you're delving into kind of this philosophical problem of evil here. It's to do with the fact that they allow everyone to have free will, and everyone will have, like moral accountability and all that stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm probably analyzing too much into this. That's where the problem is going.
I have no idea.
We want to be free to do what we want to do. We want to have a good time. We want to get loaded.
Yeah.
Oh my god! What if that's what they are? What if they're like party boys? What if they're just frat boys where it's like, no, you don't understand. All these other dimensions, they're not cool. We're cool. Look at our thing. I would love that. We have beer.
One of the timekeepers is Kevin Feige.
I mean, if he was ever going to have a cameo.
This would be good.
Anyway,
Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers.
Oh.
They allow this to happen so that they can have things happen. Because I like how they established in the Time Force that they allowed Loki to take over the Earth so that the Avengers could grow stronger together. Not just physically, but also kind of spiritually. Going together stronger, strengthening their relationships. So that's the same thing. Like with every struggle, people grow closer together. That's their idea. And that's why they allow this. But they're not going to allow people to mess up the timelines for reasons that they explain. Because it's just going to mess everything up. And it's going to get very confusing.
Oh, I'm with you, but I do wonder if there is some badness to it, because they do mention, oh, it could be as bad as you were a dictator, or it could be as simple as you went to work late, meaning the smallest things that don't meet their perfect image are like, nope, erase that timeline, erase everything, get in the bombs, erase it. And I do wonder how that's going to end with these guys, but we'll have to see. It's a cool idea.
I do think we are going to touch on the morals of that, because we deliberately had the scene of Mobius. Don't shoot! It's just a kid. Goes up and entertains this kid, give them a sweet moment, tells them to go outside before they erase this reality, killing everyone in that universe.
Now,
That's a higher death toll than Thanos from that one scene.
Yeah.
And they're doing this every time it branches.
Wait a minute. Were they not resetting the timeline? I thought that was like the whole...
Cal. Here, I got it for you. Hold on. Okay, so
This ought to be interesting.
let's look at this sword, right? So this sword is the one main timeline, right? This is where Mobius was. This is the branch timeline. Now, in order to restore the natural timeline, what needs to be done?
Erase it.
Yep. So they erased it. That little girl is technically still alive, but only in the main timeline.
The little girl who had those experiences with Mobius is dead. They killed her.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one when it didn't branch is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they were going to kill Loki. They were going to murder this character Loki. We know, who we just spent this episode with. That was what they wanted to do. That's still murder. That's still killing.
The main timeline is, which also means that the Avengers timeline that Loki came from, that too was a notch that now is erased.
Yep, we see them activate the erasure thingamajig. All the Avengers in that universe are dead.
I thought that
Which
orange...
solves some of the problems from Endgame.
I thought that orange thingy-majiggy reset the timeline. I mean, the way it was coloring everything, I thought, okay, start over, I thought to myself.
Well again, what's the difference?
Technically, that is resetting, Callum, because the line is still intact. Like, those people aren't technically dead. It's just that version. Like, I'm running out of stuff to put on this. Like, look, this is the timeline. Now, the normal timeline is still there. It's still fine. But this is the branch. Now, their goal is to keep this intact. This is where you and me are. We are all alive. Now, one of us does something that creates a branch. We become an issue. It was Jack. So, whatever Jack did, if he took an Infinity Stone, they need to destroy that Infinity Stone and Jack. But it's not just that. Jack taking those things created a branch. So they need to also destroy the branch. And then the one pure timeline is still here. I did not think this sword would be as important as it became in this video. It's just a long line if I use it right.
Here's a unique thought experiment. If we're going by that line of thinking, then when you think about it logically, according to what you said, amnesiacs are corpses.
I have no idea how you got that.
In the person that they were before they lost the memories is gone now.
Yeah.
Like Jack Frost.
Callum, just to be a little more vivid, I'll use a different sword this time. When there is a branch, that creates a different you. I have a lot of stuff. Eventually, I can do this on a gun.
A long sniper rifle or something.
This is where we are on the timeline.
The timeline.
No, you don't understand, Callum. This is where the branch comes in. It's right here. This is the branch. Here it is. Look, Wolverine's even there. That's Wolverine.
Meanwhile, in 100 Acre Wood.
Oh dear, not Winnie the Pooh. Oh,
The
God.
timeline is flexible. It can bend, it can go straight. But in the end, if there is, I'm out of stuff. If there is some sort of branch, it has to be broken off. That's the rule.
From a
Like this?
non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, time's more like a big ball of
This
wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Stuff.
or this
Again.
is this
Okay.
and this
All right,
I don't
moving
think we do an
forward.
entirely
and
different
this.
podcast on time travel
Time travel.
within fiction. I feel
This
like
is
that's
why I
something
never
we're
get into
very
sci-fi
passionate
because
about
everything gets so
for a while.
confusing. This is exactly why I never get into sci-fi. Everything's so confusing.
Well, here's the thing. It's not that confusing. It just takes a minute to get your head around it. And once you do, you get it.
I mean, what you said makes more sense than how they tried to explain it in Endgame, I think.
Oh, yeah, where you can just
Yeah.
do whatever the fuck you want.
I mean, we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. I could also go on a tangent about that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, let's move on to what I think is the best scene in the show. Loki looking at his life. We can talk about that if you wanna.
we'll do the dramatic stuff first, I guess.
Well, it's Loki looking at, like, when he sees the Avengers and he sees his like loss. You know, he's still got the Loki persona up, and I like how he keeps like looking at the things he's saying, and he's like, "That's right, that's true. I still stand with that." But the fact that Mobius just shows him Frigga's death and goes, "You killed your mom. You were trying to lead them to Thor. Thor wasn't up those stairs." Just, he weirdly becomes the Loki we're familiar with, or at least a blend of the Loki we're familiar with from Ragnarok and the old Loki. Like, I think he's still, like, not so sure about this and has some evil intent, but now he actively wants to be better. And I just love the broken Tom Hiddleston sitting in the corner going, "I don't want to hurt people. It just keeps up the illusion."
Yeah,
And how he,
I
did you guys notice when Thor went, "I would hug you, brother, if you were still here"? That's when Loki laughed the hardest. He was like, "Of course I'd do that." And then he went, "I am here." God, this just, how do they keep doing this? I don't get it. How do they keep taking the, I said it earlier, but we're so familiar with these characters. We have over 20 movies with these characters. Loki alone has been in, let's fucking count it, all 3 Thor movies. He's been in 2 Avengers movies. So that's 5 movies right there.
3 Avengers movies. He was Infinity War and Endgame.
What was that?
Infinity War and Endgame. That's another Avengers movie.
Oh, you're right. He was in
And
both, so that is 6. He's been in 6 of these movies. 6 movies we have had with this character. 6 chances to get to know this character. And I thought we knew him pretty well. 1 episode of 1 show, completely different person, and it makes all the sense in the world. How do you do that? It's masterful storytelling.
We don't
And I will-
know everything about him.
Well, we know a lot more than we did, though, you know?
Right. It's just, the story. There's more to the story than meets the eye.
Like Transformers.
Is he a robot in disguise? That was.
I loved that.
That was a funny joke, though, too.
That was wonderful. I loved the whole, what if I am a robot? But yeah, I thought the B.D. Cooper stuff was funny. I was a little disappointed by that, though, because I was expecting it to be something he does on the mission. Because now I don't even know if we're going to see Thor in the show, and that's sad to me. I would have loved to see Thor in this.
Yeah, I expected it to be a part of the plot,
Mm.
but that it was just this one little flashback joke. It was a very fun flashback joke.
I would definitely love to see more Chris Hemsworth. He's one of my 5 favorite Chris's I have a crush on.
I mean, the man. Did you see the new friggin' Love and Thunder pictures? That Thor is gone. I'll say that.
And while we're on that, I mean, Loki this episode, Tom Hiddleston's looking fine.
They got some pretty boys in these Marvel shows. That's all I'm gonna say.
Abs.
Oh, gorgeous. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I think, is that all of the episode? Are we good to go into theories? Jack, any more notes? Anything else anyone else wants to say?
C.B. Cooper, Time Twisters. No, that's basically all I've got.
Yeah, we covered a lot of it.
Yeah.
Anything else anyone wants to say before we go into theories?
When Owen Wilson said, "Do you like to hurt people?" but then showing Loki apparently taking joy out of it, but then specifically showing the death of his mother. I'm gonna ask you again. Do you like hurting people? Oh, he got his neck! Oh, yeah, he got his neck!
I am blown away with how serious and how, like, once again, and I brought this up a couple times, I have so much faith in Hawkeye now, because that comic book had a lot of dark themes. I think they're going straight in. They get dark in these shows, and every time I love it. Like, you know, I hate to bring this up, but remember back in the day wherein everyone was like, Marvel is fun, and it's light, and DC is dark, and it's moody.
Yeah.
Marvel isn't just fun and light. It has these very dark moments with these very well set up characters that hurt us all the more. Like, don't get me wrong, I like some of the DC movies, but, like, you can't shit on Marvel because they are going dark. It's just that, like, it's a situation of they're earning those moments. Whereas DC just seemed to, like, throw them at the wall and hope they stick.
Yeah, DC can be lighthearted too. Have you not seen Shazam?
Oh yeah, Shazam.
Have you seen Shazam? I mean, everything with his mom, that was...
Oh yeah, there's some dark moments in Shazam. I love it when something that is fun and lighthearted can suddenly be like, and here's where the character breaks.
Yep, that's why you kind of need that balance. You kind of need that light and that dark. So you have the light and
yes, of course, that balance. Again, it is a line, as you can see.
Yeah.
Did you guys love the meta moments?
I think DC's on the right track with that now. It's balancing out the grim dark and the fun, and in terms of Marvel just being fun in games, I don't think anyone's saying that since Infinity War onwards. I think they're both at a happy medium right now. I think we're good.
I did like the meta moments in this. I guess this is the last thing I'll bring up before theories, where Loki just straight up was like, my fate is not decided by others. It will happen because of me. And it did kind of feel like for a brief second, he was talking about the fact, like, I'm not in a predetermined show. There is no script that decides what I am. Especially with the line where he goes, I'm the villain. I am just here to bring out the better side in others. Because fundamentally, without Loki, the Avengers might not have worked. That's kind of the cool thing to think about. Hugs. Hi, Cheers, Mom.
My mom says hi. She has to go.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Cheers, Mom. I can't, like, what do you want me to say that I haven't already said? It's just really cool to see this new situation that's revealing new facts about a character we've known for over 10 years. Like, it's wonderful. It's beautiful, and it's the best thing about these shows because all of them do it. Wanda did it.
Oh,
Falcon Winter Soldier did it.
10 years. It will be 10 years since the first Thor movie came.
I think it's just about 10 years, if not 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, any last things? Yeah. And look out for over 20 movies. 3 TV shows, 1 year.
Okay, Mom. Okay, I apologize for my grammar. Look how far we come. Thank you for my grammar.
Look how far we have came.
I know. Don't look at me like that.
All right, moving forward. Moving
Yeah.
forward. On to theories. Does anybody have anything they want to bring up? Any of the cool stuff? We mentioned the Infinity Stones. We mentioned the connection to the Avengers movies and stuff like that. Where do we think this is going? Because just like WandaVision, we don't have a villain yet, people. I know that it's hinted that this other Loki, might be a villain, but we don't know for sure. What do you guys think?
I saw adverts for some promotion, as you know, for Loki. I think like one of them has the American flag on it. That was subtly indicating that Loki would somehow find a way to intelligently take over the Time Cup place and become like the most respected
President
prisoner.
Loki.
Yeah, the boat Loki storyline. Yeah.
Yeah. In some prisons, like if you've seen films like The Italian Job, they'll have this one prisoner that everybody respects. So that might happen with Loki here. He'll find a way to get higher up and take advantage of that privilege somehow.
Now, I have 2 theories about Loki, and what you just said pertains to one of them. One of the theories is he's actually going to try to do better, and every episode is going to be investigating a different branch timeline where a different Loki is causing trouble to see if they are the Loki. I think that could be every episode. That's how we would get President Loki. That's how we could potentially be another Loki that me and Jack have agreed not to talk about.
I would support President Loki.
I mean, we've had worse.
Yeah.
Anyways. Just continuing. I think either A, they're going to investigate all of those, and then it's going to be revealed that the Lady Loki or whoever I just said who it was, fuck. Well, it's this other Loki is a good guy. I think that could happen. Or alternatively, and this is my Loki is still a villain, y'all theory. There's a moment where Loki is holding the Tesseract, and it's right after he discovers that they have all the Infinity Stones. He looks at the timeline and goes, "Is this the greatest power in the universe?" And in my head, I'm like, Loki, what are you thinking? And I wonder if he intentionally looked at his timeline and went, you know what? I can use these idiots. I can change my timeline and manipulate it here. And maybe President Loki is that alternate version where he did do it. I also noticed that at the end, the variant Loki, the evil cloaked figure, got one of those eraser bombs. I wonder what would happen if you set that off in the Time Bureau.
Or even if you set it off in the Prime timeline. What?
Oh, yeah.
The end of time.
A weapon.
I'm just saying, Time War Mark II. Because they mentioned there's a Time War. What if there's a second Time War?
Or of the multiverses, yeah.
I don't know, man. What do you guys think?
I like the idea of Loki trying to overthrow the TVA, get a higher position in the TVA. I could see that, but he's also very much a free agent. I imagine he'll work with them somewhat reluctantly, rather than playing the good lapdog to get in their good graces. Granted, he's done that before to a certain extent with like the Grand Master and stuff, but I don't think he bows to authority particularly frequently.
Yeah.
It'll be fun seeing him going on these missions and stuff. I am curious again how the President Loki thing is going to tie in and all the other branches and timelines and multiverse and stuff we've seen glimpses of in the trailers. I feel like it's sort of going to be a case of he'll go on the missions with them to help track down the rogue variant Loki, whoever that figure may be. And I think he's gonna have some fun while doing so. I think that could lead to the President Loki thing, where it's he somehow manages to get away, gets into another split timeline. They're like, okay, open the door, let's go through and find him again, and they go through and he's already taken over or something.
Oh yeah.
You leave him unattended for 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be a moment where Mobius screws up even a little, and Loki, like, specifically, I keep seeing a scene in the trailers where it looks like there's a giant volcano, and Loki might be there for Pompeii.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to pull a Doctor Who and be like, Loki caused Pompeii.
I don't know.
I have a theory, or
Go ahead,
well,
Cal.
more of a prediction, still a theory nonetheless. By the end of the show, they're probably going to find some way to place Loki back into the original timeline, so that things can be in order as it happened. But maybe there'll be a few side effects, like wait, or maybe he'll get his memory erased because the Avengers timeline still has to happen.
Here's the thing.
Though.
Callum.
Get the sword, Kneale. Explain it
I'm
again.
I'm finding it. Callum, okay.
Curse your complete time travel.
Callum, listen. Okay. So there's a Loki in this timeline, right? This is the normal timeline. This is the movie you saw. Avengers Endgame is here. This is the Marvel timeline.
Right.
This is what we saw in episode 1 of Loki. Now remember, they blew that up. So there's still a Loki here. There's still a Loki hanging out in here. But this Loki, right here, is the one that's in the show. And he has left that timeline. And this whole timeline is gone. Loki, which will be... God, I'm running out of shit. This battery is still around.
Oh my god.
Okay, so basically, when they erase the timeline, the Loki we knew is back in the Avengers timeline because they're able to do that.
Yes. He's still there. He never left. This is a different Loki.
Okay, so the moment they erased...
Remember after Endgame when everyone was saying, oh, I really want to see the version of the MCU where Hydra thinks Captain America is one of them, where the Tesseract's been stolen by Loki again. Doesn't exist.
They blew it up.
We don't need to worry about that not making sense anymore, because the TVA came in and blew it up.
Not just for the sake of the story, but just the overall MCU consistency. That's going to be really baffling for the people behind the scenes. But no, you cleared that up. Thank you very much.
I think it made sense, and I think episode 2 will probably try to explain it just a little bit more. But I think it made sense. Like, me and Jack got it.
Yeah. But equally, again, big sci-fi Doctor Who nerds here. Hi.
Now, thanks to you, I'm imagining that Avengers scene where, like, Thor's like, where's Loki? But then they see orange time gate, and then Loki comes back, and they're all like, what was that? I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, and that's my ultimate theory. I was going to ask if we thought any cameos would be in the show, because technically there have been cameos in all of these series, even though one was just Paul Bettany. I think that the end of the show is going to be Loki truly becomes the god of mischief, and he just teams up with Mobius and goes around just messing with the timeline. Not necessarily always hurting it, sometimes helping it out, but in his own mischievous way, he's just fucking with time. So do we think we get a cameo from any other Avengers or villains or anyone else in the MCU? Do we think new characters are coming in? What do we think on that? Because this is the first episode, so this is where those predictions can be made beforehand.
Okay, Endgame, I forgive you for saying curse you previously. Yeah, theories. That'll depend on what timeline they're jumping to for a given mission.
They could go anywhere. They could literally go anywhere. I think there has been a shot in the trailers that kind of looks like it's Black Widow, but it could also be a different actress altogether. I think in that Avengers, because we have seen a shot where he's in like a broken wasteland and Avengers Tower is destroyed. I think we need one. I think we need one Avenger that survived. I don't know who. Maybe we get like an old man Hawkeye situation where like he's blind or he's lost his arm. That's a big part of old man Hawkeye. We could also get like maybe the only Avenger to survive was Thor, and Loki could talk to his brother. But I think it would be neat, especially because we know we're getting that episode where everything's destroyed. So the question is, how and why was it destroyed?
To jump in, that is the most solid I feel about any theory I can make right now, because I can just spitball anything. The most confident I feel just from this first episode, and I thought it as soon as we saw it. We've seen these timeline reset erasure things used, and they turn on and they sort of glow gold, and they fill up with a purple swirling cloud stuff.
Yeah.
And in that shot of the destroyed New York with it leaning over Avengers Tower, there's this purple smoky stuff flying around everywhere. So I'm guessing while they're on a mission, or for whatever reason they are in this timeline where Avengers and everything's collapsing, or they're doing something and everything's fine, and then suddenly it starts collapsing because this villain, this alternate Loki, who we know has been left unattended with one of these devices, has activated it while they're out tracking them down. So to get away, destroy this timeline that perhaps wasn't meant to be destroyed. Maybe they are using it in the Prime 1, and that's going to be the big final fight, is to save this Prime timeline before everything's gone. Because this Prime, as it's been presented, this is the singular timeline. There is no multiverse at the moment. It is just this one. So if this gets reset, that's it. That's it. Game over. Full stop. The end.
Unless filmmakers are gonna portray this as in as simple a way as they did in the first episode, it's gonna get pretty confusing, and we're gonna have to step up our logic game if we're gonna keep up.
I think they can handle it. Marvel's a lot smarter than I am. I just brought out the sword. I had an actual line that I could show. But I think that, like, Jack, while you were saying that, I think you're 100% right, but I also thought of something else you said earlier. What if, now roll with me on this.
Owen Wilson doesn't have a mustache. Okay.
What if multiverse is already a thing? And what if what's happening, God damn it. Okay, so what if multiverse, there are already so many different things on the line, like different branches and everything. So what if there's already a multiverse? And then the Time Variance Authority comes in and they're like, no, we only believe in one timeline. Like, what if they're not cops? What if they're a cult? And what they're actually doing with that freaking bomb isn't destroying a timeline branch. They're wiping out an entire dimension, which in the grand scheme of infinite dimensions, even that's not really a bad thing. But when you're standing in it, like Loki might be in that scene, you realize maybe they're the villains. That's my guess. That's my theory for now.
I like that angle on it, that's them realizing, are we the baddies?
The sword is the Lord, guys. Sword is Lord.
Everything is not what it seems.
And you can...
Yeah, so fuck that theory. I think it's Mephisto.
I really
I think on that. There were multiverses, and they've cut it down to this one. That's what the animation was saying. It's like, oh yeah, all these multiverses were clashing and at war with each other and everything. But through the glory of our wondrous saviors.
Oh yeah, they could be a cult. Mobius starts with him. Multiverse starts with him. Mephisto starts with
the letter M.
This is supposed to be an M.
Technically, this is an M in sign language.
M. Wait.
Like.
Okay. Yeah, I'm bad at everything. Okay, the ratings and final thoughts.
Oh,
Does
as for me, I don't
Oh, do
really.
you have a theory, Sharon?
Yeah, I was just sitting here patiently waiting, trying to calm myself down after the whole Terror Strong blow up thing. Uh,
Everything's wild tonight.
right. I don't really have a theory. I'm just, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like this is all just gonna lead up to a multiverse of madness, but I could be wrong.
I think that's smart. Maybe Doctor Strange could show up in this. I don't know. But let's go into final thoughts and then rankings. Let's start with Callum.
Final thoughts. The
Catch
G-Man from Half-Life series, I think I know whose employers are now.
Hmm?
The Time Cops. Okay. Theory confirmed. I'm on to you, G-Man. Ratings. This show could go in any direction given the unique concept so far. A rating out of 10. I would have thought maybe this would be more character focused, but obviously they had to explain this time mechanic place, and they're gonna explore this time mechanic place, and it's probably gonna be how Loki can somehow outsmart all odds, being the god of is. I mean, it's too early to say at this point, but they explained. I'm impressed that they were able to explain other people would have depicted as a very confusing concept in this way. So I'm impressed that I was able to keep up easily and still be invested. So well done to them, because I have seen, I mean, we've all seen, I would presume, several Doctor Who episodes. There are some concepts they play around with. It gets so confusing. Like, they'll journey to the heart of the TARDIS, then they turn into monsters now. Wait, trying to keep up, they turn to monsters. Why? No, just accept it. Or what's the monster under the bed?
There's
Oh,
an
it was.
episode.
Listen, it's such a good episode though.
There's an episode of Doctor Who where a woman gets trapped in her face gets trapped in a cement square,
Love and Monsters.
and
Series
she
2,
still
episode
she still gets married to a dude even though she's just a face in a cement square.
We both do and do not talk about that episode.
That episode started out so good, and then it took a turn.
Thankfully, it's no longer the worst episode of the revival, because Chris Chibnall took over and Orphan 55 happened, and
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, it's wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey shit.
PMA,
I remember
positive mental attitude. We're good. We're good.
They can't all be the Doctor dances.
But basically, you know what I mean? Like, Doctor Who, sometimes when they try to explain the concept, it's the most confusing thing you'll ever see. But here, it's something that you would usually see in a Doctor Who episode, but they're able to explain it concisely, straight to the point, and here's the character job. So that's quite impressive. Though I might need to watch it again to warm up to it. So for the time being, I'm probably gonna give this, I don't know, an 8 out of 10 or something. Maybe I'd give it a 9, but I think it's too early to say. But this was really good for what it is.
I mean, 8 out of 10 right out of the gate. That's high praise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very appropriate because that's my ranking too. I adore this episode. What can I say that I haven't said? They just keep nailing these characters to the point where, as a comic book fan, I'm never mad at Marvel. Like, they always get it right, except for one very specific occasion. And I'm not even talking about Captain Marvel. I'm talking about I'm talking about the Mandarin and Ralph Boner. Every time they try to do that twist where it's like, no, it's actually this. I'm like, don't. This was good. But
coming.
But they freaking nail these things. The TV show format is amazing for Marvel. I'm very excited to see Black Widow, which will actually come out during the show's runtime. But I love this Loki episode. And again, so much faith for everything going forward. I guess I'm a little nervous about Moon Knight and Miss Marvel because those are origin stories with original characters that we haven't seen before. So I'll have to see if they stick it there. But as for Loki, I was laughing every step of the way. I nearly cried at the end in the first fucking episode. And there are shots in these shows that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. Some of the best iconic shots we've ever gotten from Marvel, like blood dripping from Captain America's shield, Wanda, her suit coming on, and her looking at like the stone as everything goes yellow. Frickin' one of those moments was right here when Loki watched his own story, watched the friendship and the love of Thor just make him smile. And then when Thanos cracked his neck, the flinch. God, this is a good start. A perfect start. Can't wait for the rest. Definitely giving it an 8. Want to see where it goes from here. It is magnificent. Sherry, you want to go next?
Oh.
Tara Strong!
Yeah, Tara Strong, give me the 10 out of 10 because of Tara Strong. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I did love that. I did love. I freaking love Tara Strong so much. I was so happy to talk about a voice actor. That was actually reasonable for once. Oh yeah.
Any final thoughts and ranking though?
Oh, right. Right.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, but it was pretty funny. I had some very funny moments. Very heart-wrenching moment with Loki and his story. Probably my favorite part. Well, again, second being Miss Minutes is my favorite part of this entire episode. Miss Minutes was my favorite part. And then the heart-wrenching Loki story, how he's being interrogated by Morbius. Not Morbius. Dang it, it's not Morbius. It's Mobius.
Mobius.
I keep wanting to say Morbius so freaking bad.
I feel you. I keep saying Morpheus in my head.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Morbius. I keep thinking about that vampire. God dang it. Oh man, why did I watch that episode of Are You Free in the Dark? Anyways. I am excited to see where this is gonna go. Crossing fingers, hopefully it's good. I don't know if it might tie into the
Multiverse
multiverse of madness, whatever.
I got your back, girl.
Doctor Strange too.
Yeah, let's say that. That's great. Thank you. It definitely wasn't a waste of time. And definitely gonna come back 4 seconds. So 8.
Oh, an 8?
Yeah.
That's 3 8s.
Oh,
right.
Kneale, did you guys didn't realize I made a couple of puns?
Oh, I did. I noticed all of them. And if you'll see it right here, I can't actually show you it, but I have actually written them all down. And when I do inevitably seek vengeance, I will be telling you these jokes as well. So, Jack, any final thoughts and rankings?
Yeah.
Are you gonna kill me?
No, I'll go for Tara
He
Strong.
spent a whole episode showing off his weapon collection. I'd be very afraid if I were you.
I mean, most of them are just props.
Okay, I have a few weapons of my own.
Join us next week for the Disney Plus Pals Battle Royale. Yeah, I really liked this. This episode was great. It was good fun. There was the occasional joke that I thought they dragged a little bit too long. That's about my only complaint. The dramatic scene, I like that just throughout this episode, from once he was brought in and sat down with Mobius, Loki just starts on a full-on existential crisis.
Oh yeah.
When he sees the cabinet drawer, the wee biscuit tin with infinity stones, and he has that moment looking, is this the greatest power in the universe? He has that realization, everything I've done thus far with my life has been utterly pointless. And then he sees his future, but not his, alternate him, the prime timeline version of him, his family dying, his own death, and again, that flinch at the crack. They cranked up the volume on that sound effect there.
They wanted your neck to hear. To hurt.
So by the time Mobius comes in, Loki's just sat against the wall, and starts opening up. It's like, there's no point lying about any of this stuff, trying to shield myself and my emotions. He shows some vulnerability here. He's been broken down, and it's that thing of this very much isn't the Loki we know. This is a different character now. We're still calling him Loki. We can still compare to the MCU and everything, and what happened to the mainline MCU is still important and everything. But this is basically going to be a different character from here on out. Still the Loki we know. All the different experiences and everything. What makes you who you are? It's different. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I jumped back to see what my ratings were for Falcon and Winter Soldier as a comparison here. And you know what? I think I rated Falcon Winter Soldier too highly, because there's not enough room to rank this sufficiently above that. So as its own thing, I'm giving this an 8.5 as its own. Out with Falcon, compared to Falcon Winter Soldier, this would have got a 10.
I mean, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. There are some episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier I think I like better than this. I like the feelings I got from this. Like, I don't know. Just the Isaiah Bradley shit really hit me. I loved Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I agree. The Isaiah Bradley stuff and, like, Sam's speech at the end after Carly's death and stuff were great. But I look back on the rest of it, it's like, yeah, the action was cool. The rest of the Flag Smashers went nowhere. Bucky was okay. They could have done more with him, I think. There's the bits with Wakanda with him occasionally in the second half of the show.
Zemo had a dope dance.
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
Everything with
Zemo
Zemo.
dance.
Everything with Zemo.
Yeah, like, we didn't mention the Zemo cut, though. Still 10 out of 10, of course. Like, come on. We're not monsters.
I want to give this a 9, but if I do, there's not as much wiggle room. So I get 8.5, which is on par with what I gave the Falcon Winter Soldier finale.
Ooh, so that would be a 32.5 and about 81% of the first episode.
32.5 out of 40.
40.
Yeah.
Right at the start.
I miss Melissa, though. I hope she comes back.
She will hopefully be in the next episode.
She will come.
She'll be back.
And
if you look at the line, you can see that Melissa is in this timeline. But unfortunately, we are in this timeline. So hopefully we can merge the two or destroy one of them. As you can see, it's just
not this fun.
I just threw the sword. All right. Anything we want to end on? Everybody want to plug themselves? Let's start with Jack.
Plot hole. There's a plot hole I'm thinking about, and you're probably gonna get away at this, but I noticed the plot hole. You guys remember Loki's a frost giant, right?
Yes. Oh, that was a great. Yeah.
Yeah, they call him Luffyson.
Yes.
Born a frost giant, why didn't he transform back into his one?
When
he died?
Because there's no magic in that dimension, so why not transform back? Inconsistency.
I mean, maybe that's just a natural ability. Like, maybe that's just a superpower.
Yeah. I mean, he turned into baby Tom Hiddleston when Odin picked him up, so maybe it's just warmth.
Maybe it's just like a God thing. Maybe he can change it whenever he wants. I don't know. I don't know. That could be a plot hole, though.
Or it could just be like a fact of his biology. It is a fair point, yeah. I was going to pull out the sonic screwdriver and be like, no, fair.
Let's go ahead and plug that. Jack, you want to plug yourself?
Yeah, sure. You can find me at Jack of All Trades on YouTube. There you go. We're covering My Hero Academia, the current season. We've just come to the end of the 1A, 1B arc, and we're getting into the My Villain Academia, League of Villain arc, which I've heard very good things about. So that's going to be very enjoyable. Coming up later, by the time this is going up later this week, probably before next recording for episode 2, my reactions to the 4th season of Infinity Train, the 4th and final season of that will be out. And reaction to episode 3 of Adventure Time, Distant Lands, the final adventure or something I think it's called, the Finn and Jake episode, which has made a lot of people cry. So I'm looking forward to recording that tomorrow morning.
Wow, you got me excited now. Shit. Now I feel weird plugging my stuff. But if anyone out there wants to head over to my Twitch, we just reached affiliate, meaning now you find people can pay me, and also you can receive little emoticons of some of the fine characters you see on this channel and such. We got the cute little red panda Kneale waving and saying yo. We have Lady Dimitrescu Kneale next to the number 69. That one's called the funny number. And we have Chad Trooper, who is a recurring Star Wars character in our streams, with his Pride Month lightsaber. So please, by all means, head over there, get your hands on those emotes, and just enjoy some Minecraft. We've been playing that lately because of the new update. And starting, I want to say either this Saturday or Sunday, it's E3, baby. We doing streams. We got a ton of people coming in to join during the live reactions. Everybody is welcome. And hopefully, in the future, I plan to do 2 videos talking about Avengers Campus. Some of them with some of these people. So please stay tuned for that. Thank you, and that is it. The sword is gone, or I would do a joke with it. Callum, plug yourself. Or Cher, you plug yourself, because...
No, Callum, go first.
Well, now that Stardust is gone, I think there's less for you.
Callum, go. Callum, go. Go.
No,
you.
Callum, go.
All right, majority vote goes for me. Right. I'm on YouTube. You can find me as Scott Meyer, but I also have an art channel called Kawaguchi Art. And recently, even though it wasn't quite as successful as I thought, for reasons I'm not going to get into, I managed to get up a website called Kawaguchi Art, where I showcase my artworks from my degree year to my recent honors year. You can see all that I have, paintings, drawings, finished works. It's all there for you to see. Feel free to enjoy. Yes.
All right, Cher, are you ready to play?
You're mute.
Cher, you're muted.
I'm sorry, I feel sad.
We still can't. You're still muted. Can you?
She's not muted.
Oh, come on.
Jack, yep.
You're gonna play along.
Jack, this is the timeline, and you're being quite rude about it.
I'm playing out that God of Mischief idea, you know.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
we can-
Sorry, I was being
Right.
My dog is taking the timeline. Hold on.
That's what the
I got
reset
it.
buttons do. They summon Fenrir.
I mean,
No. Dog.
Go ahead, Cher.
we did lose Stardust last week, so I still have a Facebook and Twitter. I just don't really post that much. I don't really have time to do YouTube or Instagram or Snapchat or Twitch or or Discord or TikTok or whatever social media platform, because I'm still in the nursing program, and after all this is over, I'm going to be going into my field for my career. So that's why I'm not going to really be posting a lot. I love to be posting though, but I don't really have time to do YouTube because I would have loved to do Nickelodeon Month with you guys, which I am still doing on my own as fun. I was supposed to post reactions for Nickelodeon Month.
I thought you said I was supposed to propose.
You're gonna marry that startup.
Pose is going on.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Cher, I belong to the world.
I don't know.
So,
So, like I said, I was supposed to post. There we go. For Nickelodeon reactions of like shows and movies. I mean, but maybe it's just the way that it is. I'm still sad about that. And to think that I watched Are You Afraid of the Dark for the very first time in 10 years.
Yeah, I remember you messaging me and going, I think I may have bit off more than I could chew here.
I'm now afraid of the dark.
Yeah, but it was funny though. But at the same time, it wasn't. Well, that's okay. I've already been looking at a bunch of Nickelodeon stuff like Rugrats and SpongeBob and iCarly, Victorious, Big Time Rush, soon Invader Zim. But I only have Facebook and Twitter. Should be my first and last name. I still have no idea how to change it to a random username for Twitter, but my Facebook is my first and last name. I kind of look like the person that's doing like this like peace pose with like my Disney princesses. But just in case you don't know how to spell my name, it's supposed to be SHERESE SARAZEN. That's for Facebook. Twitter is just my last name, first name. I gotta figure out how to switch that though. But you know, it's just yeah.
Once again, all in description below.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sad I can't really do Nickelodeon when posting stuff, but it's okay. I'll just do it for fun.
Well, now we have to end on a joke. And I
Wait,
threw
I
away
thought
all
you
my
said you were
props.
gonna end. You said you were gonna do it on your own because Callum can't really end the video because he would have talked nonsense.
Yeah, I can end the video whenever I want. I'm the god now. That's all this was.
I mean,
Shifting of power.
if we're talking about time and if Cher's needing a new social media, you could. I would highly recommend you check out a certain TikTok.
Gosh, I look like
That is actually one of my favorite Kesha songs, by the way. I love that.
I can't move far enough.
I love that song by Kesha. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ pop my speakers up tonight.
I'm fight till I see the sunlight. TikTok on the cloud.
The party don't stop and no. Okay.
My dog's tail started wagging for Kesha.
That was a good joke to end on, right?
Yeah. Cut it off there before we acknowledge the fact that it was a good joke.
I refuse to cut it off there. I'm cutting it off here.
Bye, Melissa. Hopefully
Right
see you
here.
next week. Love you.
Bye, everybody, and
Bye.
don't kiss aardvarks. They don't
See you next
deserve
week.
it.